Until recently, there had never been a period in my life during which I had seen business owners need the labor of unskilled or entry-level workers more than such workers needed those types of jobs. For the first time, I've been noticing both an abundance of jobs and an abundance of people without jobs. One of the biggest contributing factors to this phenomenon has been the expansion of eligibility for collecting unemployment benefits over the last year. For many people who had held entry-level positions prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, it became more financially beneficial to collect unemployment than to actually work. Presently, many employers are offering higher starting wages simply to draw in applicants to fill the multitude of empty positions at their business. The development of this pattern over time would indicate that the longer people continue to collect unemployment benefits, the higher the average starting wage will climb for entry-level positions. These employers are no longer in competition with each other, but instead with the federal and state unemployment benefits that an individual can expect to receive. Under normal circumstances, finding a replacement for an unskilled worker is easy and takes very little time. Everyone has basic needs that they must meet, but not everyone has formal education or a trade of some sort. Therefore, there should always be someone willing to accept minimal pay on the basis of his or her level of desperation. This does nothing to incentivize employers to offer even decent starting wages for people hired to perform unskilled work, and in fact, it promotes the opposite behavior. According to Top 3 Theories of Wages on economicsdiscussion.net, the equilibrium wage for a given job will tend to decrease as the supply of labor increases and vice versa. Due to the combined influences of expanded unemployment benefits, a decline in going to public places, and the overlaps between these, and the gradual reopening of the country, businesses are now becoming desperate for new employees and are doing whatever possible to retain the ones that they already have. An article from NPR.com suggests that half of all jobs lost as a result of the pandemic still remain unfilled, largely due to people's avoidance of public places. A similar article from Channel 10 WBNS News describes hospitality workers, such as those working in hotels or in food service, being forced to find other industries and then simply not returning to their previous positions once they became available again. If you knew that you could completely avoid exposure to the virus while still keeping the bills paid without working, it wouldn't make any sense to try to go out and find a job only to have to settle for subpar terms and wages. However, any company that hasn't completely gone out of business by now is still responsible for meeting the level of demand of their consumer base, even if it means taking a loss in the short term in exchange for the survival of their business in the long term. The greater the number of people not looking for work they intend to keep, and the longer this behavior continues, the more a given employer will be forced to incentivize applicants. To maximize the benefit to the prospective employee, this would continue to a certain limit at which the net profit of an employer would approach, but not reach, zero. In the Wesley Chapel area alone, there are numerous examples of employers who would have offered between $9 and $12 an hour for entry-level hires prior to the pandemic, and these same businesses are now offering at times between $14 and $17 per hour for the same positions. This opportunity should be taken advantage of while it's still available, because once it's passed, it will take a global catastrophe to produce these conditions again. If you or anyone you know earns less than or equal to the combined unemployment benefits available to them, you would benefit in both the short and long term by becoming unemployed in such a way that eligibility requirements are maintained in order to collect. Typically, there is far too much competition and a flooded market of unskilled work for workers to have this much power over their starting wages. Every economy is ruled by laws of equilibrium, so invest in the value of your labor and stay home.